Alright, this is the Legions pack we opened the other day, and it's time to evaluate it as a pack war deck. Right off the bat, I will point out that all 15 cards are creatures. So usually more creatures is better for pack wars, because usually you just play things as fate for face value and just jam in and hope to get there. This block cared about certain creature types. Of note, we have a bunch of clerics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 5 clerics. 6 clerics, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clerics. And then for zombies, 1, 2. So for the Cleric Matters cards, it's really just where'd it go? This card. This card cares about clerics, so with 6 clerics, and if I stick this and like 2 or 3 clerics, they are probably having a hard time blocking and or attacking. Gem Palm Polluter will at most cycle and deal 1 damage, but I can sack a zombie through this, and I have 2 zombies to sack. I have 2 mana sinks. I have no other soldiers besides this, and no other dragons besides this. But even so, just having a board, having some sort of board control, right? A flyer, things to do, like the Echo Tracer can morph. The Master of the Veil can flip it face down and use it again to bounce something. There is a downside to having no non-creature spells, but I think I would give this an 8 out of 10. Just getting the 7 mana and playing this would be great, but I think it's not a 9 or 10 just because the overall power and toughness is pretty low. But yeah, probably an 8. I want it to be an 8, but it'll probably end up being like a 6 or 7. But let's try it out. Let's try Goldfishing. Shuffle all these creatures up. And then shuffle these lands up. As you know, Pack War is normally you open a booster, face down, sleeve them up, sleeve 3 of each basic land, and just play a game. No mulligans, no whining, you just see what you have and play it out to get extra value out of just cracking a booster pack. If you have a chance to play this out with a friend or family member, it's surprisingly fun. It doesn't sound that fun when you explain it, but when you actually do it, you get some wacky games sometimes, and it's pretty great. So, let me grab my dice. I will call even. It's even. For the purposes of this goldfish, it just means I don't draw on the first turn. As usual, I'm trying to see how long it takes me to deal 20 damage. It's a poor representation of how the game would go, just because I'm not accounting for blockers or their interaction, but it's an okay meter of like how the game might flow. So again, no mulligans, but this hand is off to a good start. I would go Plains Pass. Would love a swamp. Let's see if I'll grab one. There's the swamp. Play the swamp, and I can land. Oh, nope, don't have. I thought I had the 2 mana one, but I don't. So I pass turn. Back to me, turn 3. Hope they don't get stuck on colors. But I can play Smoke Spew Invoker and start getting in for damage. Pass the turn back to myself. Another swamp, which I don't really need right now. So playing the plains, I can... I don't think there's ever any reason to morph this, so I would just try to spend my mana efficiently by playing the Daru Sanctifier and swing in for 3, get them down to 17. Back to myself. Draw. A flyer is always good. So I do have an option to like play the Entangler and cycle the Polluter for 1 damage. I don't know if that's necessary, because if I draw 1 more land I can just play it as a 4/3 and that might be better. So for this turn I could play the Aven Redeemer because it flies and get in for 4, bringing them down to 13. I'm not exactly curving out, but being able to land a creature every turn is pretty useful in Pack Wars, I think. There's a mountain, but it's also the 6th land for the Gen Palm Polluter. I think a 4/3 is better than another card and 1 damage. So that would let me get in for 6. I mean, realistic, it might be like 2 in the air, but assuming nothing else, for 6, they'll go to 7. Here's the 7. 7. Coming back to me, it is turn 7. That is notable. And wow, I actually missed a land drop. But this is more than lethal. I mean, if I wanted to, I could play this and use its ability once. I do have, what, 3 clerics in play, so they would have to pay 3 to block with it. So that's a good option. But yeah, it took me 7 turns, which is not too bad. Don't really have much gas outside of playing this to remove something. Hunter Sliver is just a 1/1 provoke. Looking at the next few turns, I mean, at 6 or 7 mana I can play all my big things, so things would only kind of get better, I think. But that is how the Pack War would go. Yeah, I think I stand by my evaluation of 8 out of 10. This would probably perform pretty well most of the time, I think. Of course, it's just best of 1, but yeah, that's what I would evaluate it at. Let me know what you guys think.